The Culinary Duel. Jamie stood in the gleaming kitchen, his mind swirling with thoughts of the upcoming culinary competition and the two people complicating his life. Riley, the sharp-tongued food critic, had always admired Jamie's creations, but lately, her interest seemed to go beyond just his food. Max, a rival chef with a reputation for pushing boundaries, had always been Jamie's fiercest competitor, but their rivalry had taken on a more personal edge. The competition, known for its high stakes and intense pressure, would bring the three together in a way that none of them had anticipated. Jamie's heart raced as he prepared for the first challenge, knowing that both Riley and Max would be watching his every move. Riley sat in the audience, her eyes never leaving Jamie as he skillfully plated his dish, each movement precise and calculated. Max, stationed at the next counter, glanced over at Jamie, a mixture of admiration and determination flickering in his eyes. As the judges approached, Jamie felt the weight of their scrutiny, but it was Riley's gaze that truly unnerved him. The judges praised Jamie's dish for its balance of flavors, but it was Max who stole the round with an unexpected twist on a classic recipe. Jamie couldn't help but feel a pang of jealousy as Max basked in the judges' approval, but he quickly refocused on the next challenge. Riley approached Jamie after the round, her smile warm yet tinged with something more, something that made Jamie's heart skip a beat. "You outdid yourself today," Riley said, her voice soft as she leaned in closer, her presence both comforting and disarming. Jamie thanked her, his mind racing with the implications of her words, wondering if there was more to her praise than just professional respect. Max watched from a distance, his jaw clenched as he saw the interaction between Jamie and Riley, fueling his competitive spirit even further. The second challenge was even more demanding, requiring the chefs to create a dish that would represent their culinary philosophy. Jamie poured his heart into his creation, every ingredient carefully chosen to reflect his passion for tradition and innovation. Max, in contrast, crafted a dish that challenged conventions, pushing the boundaries of what was expected in the culinary world. Riley, now seated at the judges' table, tasted both dishes, her expression inscrutable as she weighed each chef's approach. Jamie watched nervously as Riley took a bite of his dish, her eyes closing briefly as she savored the flavors. When she moved on to Max's dish, Jamie felt a knot form in his stomach, knowing that Max's boldness often won the day. The judges deliberated, and when they announced Max as the winner of the second round, Jamie couldn't hide his disappointment. Riley caught up with Jamie afterward, her words of encouragement doing little to ease the sting of his defeat. "You were amazing out there," Riley said, her hand resting briefly on Jamie's arm, a touch that sent a jolt through him. Jamie smiled, though it didn't reach his eyes, the weight of the competition and his feelings for Riley both pulling at him. Max, on the other hand, was buoyed by his victory, his confidence soaring as he prepared for the final challenge. The final round was a test of endurance and creativity, a marathon of cooking that would push each chef to their limits. Jamie knew that this was his last chance to prove himself, both as a chef and as someone worthy of Riley's attention. Max, too, felt the pressure, but his focus remained unshakable, his eyes never straying from the prize. As the competition wore on, Jamie and Max found themselves working side by side, their rivalry intensifying with each passing moment. Despite the tension, there was an unspoken respect between them, a recognition of the skill and passion they both brought to the kitchen. Riley watched from the sidelines, her feelings for both men growing more complex as she witnessed their dedication and talent. The final moments of the competition were a blur of heat, steam, and adrenaline, each chef pushing themselves to their absolute limit. When the time was called, Jamie and Max stood back, their dishes complete, their fates now in the hands of the judges. The judges tasted each dish in silence, their expressions giving nothing away, the tension in the room palpable. Jamie held his breath as the head judge finally spoke, his heart pounding as he awaited the verdict that could change everything. The judges praised both dishes for their creativity and execution, but it was Jamie's dish that ultimately won the day. The relief and joy that flooded Jamie were tempered by the knowledge that this victory was just one part of a much larger battle. Max approached Jamie, extending a hand in congratulations, his smile genuine despite the loss, a sign of mutual respect. Riley, too, came forward, her eyes shining with pride as she congratulated Jamie, though there was a hint of sadness in her voice. "You earned it," Riley said softly, her hand lingering in his, the connection between them undeniable but fraught with unspoken tension. Jamie knew that the time had come to make a choice, one that would define not only his career but his heart as well. He looked between Riley and Max, seeing in each of them different possibilities, different paths his life could take. Riley offered support and admiration, but there was a distance between them that Jamie couldn't quite bridge. Max, on the other hand, shared Jamie's world, understood the pressures and passions that came with being a top chef. The realization hit Jamie like a lightning bolt, the clarity of his decision washing over him with sudden certainty. Jamie turned to Max, his eyes locking with his rival's, and saw in them a reflection of his own determination and drive. "I think we could make a great team," Jamie said, the words surprising even him with their certainty and weight. Max's smile widened, his eyes lighting up with a mix of surprise and happiness, the competitive edge giving way to something deeper. Riley watched the exchange, her expression softening as she saw the bond forming between the two chefs. "I'm happy for you both," Riley said, her voice sincere, though tinged with the sadness of what could have been. Jamie reached out, taking Riley's hand in his, a gesture of friendship and respect, knowing that their connection wasn't lost. "You're an incredible person, Riley," Jamie said, his voice full of genuine admiration and gratitude for all she had been to him. Riley smiled, though her eyes glistened with unshed tears, the moment bittersweet but ultimately healing. The competition had ended, but for Jamie, Max, and Riley, a new chapter was just beginning, one filled with possibilities. Jamie and Max left the competition together, ready to face whatever challenges the culinary world would throw at them. Their partnership, forged in the heat of rivalry and tempered by mutual respect, would become the stuff of legends in the culinary world. Riley, too, found her place in this new dynamic, continuing to be a trusted critic and friend, her support invaluable to both chefs. The three of them, each in their own way, had found something lasting in the crucible of competition, friendship, respect, and, for Jamie and Max, love. The world of gourmet cuisine would never be the same, with Jamie and Max leading the charge, united in their passion for food and each other.